రాకముందు ఓకే. సో గుడ్ ఆఫ్టర్నూన్. Right. So we have completed illustration 6 in our previous session, right? The next illustration, have we made any sort of discussion with respect to illustration? Okay, no problem. Now, problem after completion, just one more problem also. And after completion of problems, we'll be another problem or another problems. So out of the remaining two problems, that means we are going to problems related to cost. And after discussion with respect to problem, another two problems. Out of that, one I'll explain in the class, one you have to do. Okay. So very good. Let's start our today's session by discussing this illustration carefully. So is Akash. He might come late because yesterday also he. So read out the illustration. Engineering company. So you are preparing cost sheet for an engineering company. Okay. Produces. Very good. So that engineering company's components, the batch of 1,000 each. So for each batch is producing 1,000 pieces. Batch producing 1,000 pieces. Okay, next. Foundry, machining, assembly. So in order to produce a product, that product will pass three stages. First stage is foundry, second stage is machining stage, the last but not assembly. These are the stages where a product will process on, and at last final outcome will be delivered. Next, batch number 001 is the batch number. So he is furnishing the details of batch number 001, and the material consumption is foundry 1300 tons at 50 per ton, of which 50 tons were sent back to. That means direct material 1300 tons has been issued. 1300 tons has been issued. Out of that 1300 tons, 50 tons were sent back to stores. That means how much consume. Say for example, your mom gives you 100 rupee and told you to buy some groceries from the nearest grocery shop, and after purchasing returned 10 rupees to you. That means how much is the expenditure? 90 rupees. How came you know the expenditure? Why? Because your mother gave 100 rupee and you return back 10 rupees. The difference is consumption. Difference is in the same way 1300 tons is given for the production department. Production department gave 50 ton back. consumption. Ante. The actual consumption is 1250. How 1250 arrived means 1300 minus 50. Each ton cost 50 per ton. 1250 into 50. Calculator and tell me the answers. What are you looking at? How much is the answer? 1250 into 50. 62,500. So 1,500 is the material cost. 2,500 is the material cost. And next one, other details are as follows. Direct labor. Direct labor, how much? Per foundry, direct labor is 200 hours at 10 rupee per hour. At machining, direct labor is 100 hours at 5 rupee per hour. At assembly, 100 hours is direct labor at 15 rupee per hour. Okay, so these are the direct material details and direct labor detail. Direct material detail, direct labor detail, and directly overheads is given. Overheads. So, and the overheads are foundry 15 per labor hour, machining 20 per labor hour, assembly 10 per labor hour. So, in this way, overheads details also furnished. Clear? So, now listen carefully. Direct material given, direct labor. No issue with direct expense. Nothing has been got to direct expense. So, direct expenses 0. Direct material plus direct labor sums up to prime cost. To prime cost, we need to add overheads. Here, what is given? Is he mentioned the overheads are respected to factory overheads, in overheads, nothing. Overheads he has been given. That's why we will add overheads. So, prime cost plus overheads gives rise to total cost or cost of sales, whatever we will, total production. Why? Because he is producing as batch wise cost details, right? Batch number is 001. So total cost of producing the goods will be arrived at total cost. Okay, these are the details. And at last, one simple paragraph he is giving. What is that paragraph? Read out. Discloses means going, communicating, telling. Discloses means what? Telling. So a comparison of actual cost with estimated cost. So you are comparing actual cost, estimated cost. What is meant by estimated cost? What is meant by estimate? Do you watch cricket? So whenever you are watching cricket, say for example, one team scored 150 runs out of 15 overs. 150 runs in 15 overs. And he'll say projection. Out of 20 overs by the completion, team might score 200. Or this team might score 210, 220, 230. He will give the estimate. Means definitely the team is going to score about 200. So there is a chance. Estimates are like that only. Estimates mean imagination, expectation. The same way company also estimated something. Estimated cost. Say for example, you plan to go to Chennai on a vacation trip. Your estimated budget is 10,000. Do you spend exactly 10,000? More or less will happen. You might expend more than 10,000, or you might complete the whole trip by 6,000 to $6,000. Then why you have estimated 10,000 means that is my estimation. I may incur up to 10,000. The same way here, a comparison of actual cost with estimated cost. Actual cost means cost you which are incurred. Cost which are incurred. Estimated cost means cost which are planned. Say for example, you are planning to appear in 2020. That is your estimation. That is your estimation. But when you will actually qualify in June, you study carefully 2020 clear your both. Or if you deviate, your attempt or your result or your success will be postponed to more than 20 or 20. But actually happen. So that is what we call comparison between actual cost and estimated cost, or we may say actual attempt versus estimated attempt. What is your estimated attempt? June 2026 is your estimated attempt. What is your actual pass out attempt means you have to pass. You might pass in June 2026 also. Study carefully. Otherwise, your success will be delayed also. Both depends upon your efforts only. No magic things will happen. Be carefully. Definitely not a big thing. Okay. So in the same way, they are comparing actual cost with estimated costs. And it is disclosing that materials and overheads have exceeded the estimates by 20%. What material cost and overheads expenses have exceeded the estimates by 20%. Exceeded the estimates. That means you planned 100 rupee, but they actually incurred 120 rupee. Sir, how you can say 120 rupee? He said exceeded by 20%. Exceeded by 20%. So you are planning to incur 100 rupee, but the actual cost is 120. Is it a favorable situation or adverse situation? Means adverse situation. Sir, what is meant by adverse situation? Means negative. Means negative. So listen carefully. Favorable situation means kind of profitable situation. Listen, what is meant by favorable situation? It is a profitable situation. Adverse situation, your costs are increasing. Your costs are increasing. Adverse means negative. Adverse means what? Negative. So adverse situations are to be avoided. Favorable situations are to be created. Say for example, where is your house, Teja? Which means Konda means Prakasham. Guntur. So your house is located in Guntur, and now you are at Hyderabad. Hyderabad only. Okay. So from Hyderabad to Guntur, you are planning to go to home a budget of 500. So how much money is in your pocket means 500 rupees there in your pocket. So listen carefully. With 500 rupees, you are planning to go from Hyderabad to Guntur, and you have successfully completed the trip, successfully reached your home by spending 400 rupees. How much? 400 rupees. That means it is a favorable situation. It is a favorable situation. How much you planned? 500, but you have completed the destination just within 400. That means 100 rupees saved. 100 rupees saved. This is a favorable situation, and we will denote this situation with F. We will denote this situation with F. F means favorable. It means favorable means profitable, kind of profitable situation. F means what, ma? Profitable situation, favorable. And say for example, how much money do you have? 500 rupee. Where do you want to go? To Guntur you want to go. So just after reaching home, just after reaching the bus stand, so-called buses are completely full. Only cars are available to Guntur. Buses are completely rushed. There is no place. Buses and trains completely rushed. No place to board any train or bus. That's why decided to go by car. And you came out of bus stand, asked a car, it will go to Guntur or not. That person said the ticket charge is 800. Ticket charge is 800. He agreed to drop you at Guntur, 800. So there is no option left with, because buses and trains are completely rushed. So you called your friend and borrowed 300, and he transferred 300, and now you have 800 rupee with you, and you reached the home by paying 800 to that car driver. Listen carefully. How much amount you spend to reach your home? 800. What is your original budget? 500. But what is your actual expenditure? 800. Then what is the difference? 300. Over expenditure, under expenditure. Over expenditure. This is a negative situation. Profit or you spent extra 300. This is not a favorable situation. This is a loss making situation. This kind of negative situations will be denoted with A. Negative situations will be denoted with A. A for adverse. A for what, ma? Adverse. Adverse means negative only. Adverse means negative. So this kind of negative situations will be denoted with A, adverse. Positive situations will be denoted with F. F means profit. Profit. F means favorable. Favorable. For your better understanding, I am saying profitable situation. A means negative, loss, adverse situation. So, do you clearly understand what is F and what is A? Do you clearly understand what is F and what is A? F means favorable. A for adverse. When you will use F? When you will use F? Super. Repeat again. Yes. If actual expenditure is less than estimated expenditure, we will use F. Teja wants to go to Guntur. On the way, by mistake he checked the train status. Trains are completely empty. And he made a quick reservation. Train charges is around 150 rupees or something to Guntur. Not more than that. Say for example 200 rupee train ticket and 100 rupee for auto and all. 300 rupee. Within 300 rupee you reach the destination. What is your original budget? 500. But within 300 only you completed the trip. You reached the destination successfully. What is your budget? 500. But you have completed the trip by 300 by spending 300 rupees. That means 200 rupees saved. 200 rupees still you left with 200 rupee extra money. So is it a profitable situation or loss situation? Profitable situation. It should be denoted with F. Be denoted with clear. In the same way, here also a comparison of actual cost and estimated cost is made. They have compared the actual cost and estimated cost. And in that situation, material and overhead expenses exceeded the estimate by 20%. Exceeded, దాటిపోయింది. Material cost and overhead expenses exceeded the estimate by 20%. Exceeded means crossed. Come again. Exceeded means crossed. That means you estimated as 100, but the actual is 120. It is a profitable situation or loss situation? Loss situation. We will be denote with a. Here, do you really understand what is what are these three components? What is 100? Budget or estimate? Actual. You planned for 100, but it is 120. That means you have exceeded the budget. You went beyond the budget. So it is a negative situation. The loss situation. It is a adverse situation. That is why name it as A. Here. Okay. And second point is, whereas the estimated labor cost is 10% more than the actual. So estimate is 10% more than the actual. In other words, actual is less than estimate. Listen, actual is less than actual cost is less than estimated cost. Please tell me, it is a profitable situation or loss situation? It is a profitable situation or loss situation? Profitable situation. Why? Why? Because your actual cost is less. Less means below. Below than what? Estimated cost. So it is a profitable situation. We will be denote with F. Clear? Will be denote with. Okay. So show the variances with respect to the estimate. He is asking, show the variances with respect to the estimate. Variances means nothing from budget. It is a favorable situation or adverse situation, you should tell. That is the whole problem. Okay. So listen carefully. We are going to solve the whole problem. Very important and easy thing actually. Right, 1000 piece. Okay. First of all, I'll start solving the problem like this. Direct material. So particulars, actual cost, estimated cost, variance. Particulars, actual cost, okay. So this is the thing we are going to do. So first of all, direct material. Direct, listen carefully from the problem. What is the actual cost? 1300 tons at 50 per ton issued. Out of this, 50 tons returned. That means what is your consumption? 1203 tons into each ton is 50 rupee. So the answer is 62,500. 62,500. How you arrived at 62,500 means, sir, 1300 tons issued, sir. Out of 1300 tons, 50 tons I gave back, sir. That means 1250 tons, sir. Each ton is 50 rupees, sir. So after calculation, I have arrived at 60,500. Very simple. Okay. So this is the calculation behind direct material. So next, estimate. First of all, we will calculate actual expenditure. After that, we will calculate estimate. Next, direct material. After completion of direct materiality is direct labor. Direct labor. Direct labor given in three parts. Okay. First of all, foundry. Next, machining. Next, assembly. So foundry is 200 into 10. How much? 1000. Machining 100 into 5. 500. Hard to calculate 100 into. Okay. Assembly 100 into 15. 1500. How much? So these are the direct labor costs, actual direct labor. And next we have overheads also. Overheads how much ma? Overheads are 15 per labor hour. How many labor hours? 200. That means 200 into 15. Here 20 per labor hour. 20 into 100 hours. 10 per labor hour. 10 into 100. Okay. So in the same way, tell me overheads also same. Three departments there. First one foundry. Second one machining, and the third one assembly. These are the three departments, and it is 15 into 200. How much? 15 into 200, 3000, and 20 into 100. 20 into 100 is 2000, and 100 into 10,000. So these are the overheads details, actual overheads. Okay, carefully. So these are the details. And at last, very important thing, the given information. Comparison of actual cost with estimated cost is discussed. Material and overheads. That means material and overheads. Material, this is material, right? These three are overheads, right? Here. So material and overheads are exceeded the estimates by 20%. Exceeded by 20%. Listen carefully. 62,500 is actual cost. It is exceeded the estimate by 20%. Then how much is the estimate means? Listen, very important, listen carefully. Say for example, you estimated as 100. Estimated as 100, but it went to sir, how you can say 120? Why? Because 20% exceeded he has mentioned in the. Okay, so what is your estimate? 100, but what is the actual expenditure? 120. Okay, so listen, what is the actual expenditure in rupees? 62,000. If you listen, if you observe carefully, this 62,500 is equal to 120, right? 62,500 is equal to 120. How? How this 62,500 is equal to 120? Listen carefully. This is actual cost, right? This actual cost is 120, right? How 120? Why? Because 100 is my budget, sir. 100 is my budget, but my budget exceeded by 20%. That means actual cost is 120. So in percentages, I am saying, so as a percentage 120, but in rupees 62,500. Listen, very important. Listen, if if 120 percentage equal to 62,500, then 100% how much? If 120 percentage is equal, forget about percentages here. So that is also I am avoiding. Just a minute. I'll delete about percentages also. It will lead to unnecessary confusion. If 120 is equal to 52,500, then 100 is equal to how much? We will simply do this by calculation. 52,500 divided by 120 into 100. How much? How much, ma? 52,083.33. Okay, on rounding off, we'll mention as 52,083. 52,083. Listen, it means you planned as 52,000, but it went up as 60,500. It means over expenditure or under expenditure? Over expenditure. Why? Because you planned as 52, but actually is 500. Over expenditure. Over expenditure means variance how much, ma? What is the difference between these two figures? 62,500 and 52,083. Calculator and tell me. How much? 10,417. 417. So 10,417 is plus or minus? Minus. How minus? Actually is more than estimate. So actual expenditure estimate is 52,000, actually 62,500. So your actual expenditure has exceeded the budget. That is why it is negative. What I have told earlier, negative will be denoted with which letter? F letter or A letter? A letter. So that is why we have to use here. Okay. So this is the actual point. So okay. So this is, has everyone in the class got the clarity how we are calculating? Then paid the fee for the classes. are not just sitting here at free of cost. It is your responsibility to attend the classes with utmost attention and be active and participate in the. So if anything you don't know, ask the concerned immediately. I didn't understand this. Elaborate, please. Okay, it is very important. Okay, so listen. This calculation point is still doubt for few students. I can say that how we have arrived at 52,083 still didn't understand by few. Listen, you don't understand, honestly admit problem in it. Okay, so once again, I'm going to tell the topic. Listen carefully. Please now listen carefully. Very important. Pay attention. So I'll take red ink. Yes, listen. What is your actual cost, ma? 52,500. What is your estimated cost? You don't know. How to calculate? There is no information given in the problem as 52,083. Does the figure 52,083 given in the problem? No. You calculated it. How to calculate this 2083? Listen, I'll tell. Listen, 52,500 is your actual cost, right? You don't know estimated cost, right? But you know the relation between actual cost and estimated cost. You know the link. What is that link? The link is as follows. Listen, the link is as follows. The link is whatever the actual cost is there, whatever the actual cost is there, this actual cost is equal to 20 percentage more than estimated cost. 20 percentage more than estimated cost. See, I am repeating concept at third time. Should be very careful. If I again ask how come this calculation is arrived, you should, otherwise I'll give severe punishment. Why? Because I'm repeating third time. Listen very careful. So actual cost is, you know the only link. What is that link? Actual cost is equal to 20 percentage more than the estimated cost. This is the only link we know. We don't know anything. Okay, listen. Say for example, actual cost we know 62,500 equal to, say for example, if estimated cost is 100, we don't know. That is why we are assuming it as 100. If estimated cost is 100, it is 20 percentage more, right? 20 percentage more means 120. 20 percentage on 100, how much, ma? 20. That means 100 plus 20, 120. So this 62,500 is equal to 120. If 62,500 is equal to 120, 100 is equal to how much? We will calculate. So for this kind of calculations will be called as proportionate calculation. What we will call? Proportionate calculations. This kind of calculations will come in accounts, costing, MA, advanced accounting, financial management and all. For this kind of calculations, I'll tell you a simple trick which is applicable for all subjects. Shall I say? Listen. So, what is actual cost, ma? 120. If 120 is equal to how much? 52,500. 100 is budgeted cost, that means estimated cost. That thing you don't know. Then 100 how much? You don't know this thing, right? So whenever you don't know this kind of calculation, you can calculate, or you can use as I'll once again tell this figure divided by this multiplied by this figure. So the cloud, the arrows is like this, 3 arrows. 1, 2, 3. What is the relation between 1 and 2? Division. What is the relation between 2 and 3? Multiplication. Calculation. Problem is solved. You can use this logic in any subject. Once again, 1, 3. What is the relation between 1 and 2? What is the relation between 2 and 3? Multiplication. If we do the same, answer will arrive or not, we'll calculate. What is this? 62,500. So 62,500 divided by how much? 120 into 100. Tell me the answer. 52,083.3. What we have written here? 1083. Is it clear for everybody? Clear? Do you really understand how 52,083 has arrived? Or in the problem, actual cost given, estimated cost not given, but the relation is given. What is the relation? Actual cost is equal to 20% more than estimated cost. You don't know the estimated cost, right? That is why take it as 100. Take it as 100. 20% more means 20% on 100 how much? 20. 20% on 100, 20. So 20 plus 100, 120. So this 120 is equal to 62,500 actual cost. 120 is equal to 62,500. Then 100 how much? If you able to form this equation, problem is solved. Just after doing this equation, 3 steps. Relationship between 1 and 2 is division. Relationship between 2 and 3 is multiplication. Clear? Okay. So listen, next solution or next answer you should be able to answer. Okay. I'll ask just a minute. You start learning the subject, will start enjoying the classes. So my objective or my goal is very simple. Everyone in the class must be able to understand the class effectively. Okay, listen carefully. Now, with respect to overheads also, actual cost we know, but estimated cost we don't know. Estimated cost we don't know. But link has been given. What is the link? Actual cost is 20% more than estimated cost. Link has been given. Sir, where it is given? Here it is given. Read the point. A comparison of actual cost with estimated cost discloses that material and overheads have exceeded the estimate by 20%. See how clearly he given. Material exceeded 20%. Overheads also exceeded 20%. So materials also exceeded 20%. Listen, this is what? Overheads, actual or estimate? Actual. This is what? Estimate. You know? No, you don't know. But you know the link. What is the link? This whatever the actual cost is there, it is 20% more than estimated cost. You don't know the estimated cost, right? That's why take it as 100. Estimated cost is 100. 20% more, right? 20% on 100 means 20 plus 20 plus 100, 120. Do you really understand what I am calculating? Do you really know what is estimated cost? No. Estimated cost we don't know. We know just only the link. We don't know the estimated cost, as we don't know the estimated cost, we are assuming that estimated cost as 100. We are assuming that estimated cost as 100 and 20% is increment, right? 20 plus 100, 120. So this 3000 is equal to 120. Listen, don't calculate. This 3000 is equal to 120. So if 120 is equal to 3000, 100 is equal to how much? Calculate. And after calculation, I'll ask answer what I am saying. After calculation, I'll ask answer, then only you should tell. You got the answer? Teja? You got the answer? How much is your answer? How much is your answer? అడిగినప్పుడు చెప్పలేడు అడిదే అడగకుండా చెప్తాడు 2500. How 2500 arrived? Say this 3000 is equal to, Teja, listen, this 3000 is equal to 1000 కేసావా లెజెండ్లా తయారు. How to get 3000? Okay, so this 3000 is equal to 120. If 3000 is equal to 120, 100 is how much? So if 120 is equal to 3000, 100 will be how much? This is the question. Then you have to do 3 steps. First step, second step, third step. What is the relation between first and second step? Division. Om Namah Shivaya. What is the relationship between second step and third step? Multiplication. So 3000 divided by 120 into 100. So 3000 divided by 120 to 100, which gives rise to 2500. So listen carefully. 2500. Do you really got the clarity how we have arrived at 2500? Clear? So listen. You estimated the expenditure as 25. You estimated expenditure is 25. But your actual expenditure is 3000. It means what? F or A? Listen, I'll ask the question one more time. Everybody should answer my question. First of all, understand the question. No hurry. I should say answer first. No. Understand. Your planned expenditure is, so this is your budget. How much is your budget? 25. How much is your actual expenditure? It means you crossed the limit. You are within the limit. You crossed the limit. Crossed the limit means positive or negative? Negative. Negative means A. How much negative? 500 negative. That is why we have to write minus 500. How we have written here? Minus 10,417 A. Clear? So now tell me the answer for machining. Machining also same, 20% exceeded. Tell me the answer. 1666.6, whatever, 1667. Satisfied? 1667. So how you have arrived at 1667? So listen, very important. What is this 2000 actual cost? What is estimated cost? But you know the link. What is the link? Actual cost is 20% more than estimated cost. So for example, estimated cost is 100. Is more than 20 percentage means 20 percentage on 100 means 20. 20 plus 100, 120. So this 2000 is equal to 120. Then how much is 100? So we'll simply rewrite the equation as if 120 is equal to 2000, 100 is equal to how much? And we'll do 3 points. 2000 divided by 120 into 100. How much, ma? 2000 divided by 120 into 100. 1667. So your budget is 1667, but you actually incurred 2000. That means over expenditure or under expenditure? Over expenditure. How much over? 333. Minus or plus? Minus. Minus means A or F? A. Here. Are you following? And just answer me the third point. Assembly expenditure is 1000 actual. Same. It is 20% over the budget. So now tell me what is the budget? 833. How? 120 is equal to 1000. 100 is equal to how much? So 1000 divided by 120 into 100. 1000 divided by 120 into 100. How much? 833. So you planned as 833, but actual expenditure is 1000. That means again crossed. That means again negative. How much negative? 167. Negative means F. F. Negative means F. A for आ गया. A for what? Adverse situation. What you said? Favorable. So A for adverse situation. Adverse means negative. Adverse means what? Negative. Favorable means kind of a profitable situation. Kind of. Okay. So next one. Listen carefully. This is the relation between material and overheads. 20% is the relation. But there is another point. Your real knowledge exposes now. Listen carefully. Everybody should follow. The estimated labor cost is 10% more than the actual. Again, estimated labor cost is 10% more than the actual. So estimate is more, not actual. Estimate is more. In other words, actual cost is less. Actual cost is less. Estimate is more. That means favorable situation. That means favorable situation. Listen. So labor cost is 10% more than the actual. So the variances he is asking. So listen carefully. This 2000. Actual cost is 2000. This actual cost is lower than estimated. Actual cost is lower than estimated cost. Okay. Now listen carefully. How much might be the estimate means it is 10% more. Estimate is how much more? 10% more. So 10% means 2000 into 10% how much? 200. So we can simply write as plus 100. Favorable situation. Listen carefully. If 2000 is your actual cost and 200 is the favorable situation, what is the estimated cost means? 2200. 2000, listen, you planned as 2200, but it will came as 2000. That means your actual cost is less than 200. Okay, so that is why plus 200 favorable situation. Sir, I am not able to understand this concept, sir. Tell me in the equation form. I need equation form. Okay, now I'll tell you the equation form. Listen carefully. This is actual cost, no? This actual cost. So, say for example, you don't know the estimated cost, but you know the link. What is that link? Estimated cost. So, you know only the link. So, what is the link? Actual cost is equal to 10% lower than the estimated cost. In other words, we will call as estimated cost is equal to 10% more than actual cost. Estimated cost is equal to 10% more than actual cost. So you know this actual cost. Don't know estimated cost. Okay. Say for example, estimated cost is equal to how much more? 10% more. Say for example, you consider estimated cost as 100. It is 10% more, right? 10% means 100 into 10%, 10. So 100 plus 10, 110. 100 is equal, estimated cost is equal to 110. In simple, we can conclude as estimated cost is equal to 110. So listen carefully. Now, this equal to 100, then 110 is equal to how much? In equation, we can conclude as, listen, if 100 is equal to 2000, 110 is equal to how much? Solve and tell me. 1200. How much more? 2200. So listen, your estimate is 22. Estimate is 22. Your planned expenditure. How much you planned? 22. But your actual expenditure is 2 only. That means under expenditure or over expenditure? Under expenditure. Teja wants to go home with 500. But in 300 only trip completed. That means under expenditure. That means here also 2200 you planned, but in 2000 only completed. That means under expenditure. That means how much under expenditure? What is the difference between 2000 and 2200? 200. That is a favorable situation. Favorable situation means plus 200 F plus 200 F. Okay. And in the same way, listen carefully. This 500 equal to 110. Oh, sorry. This 500 is 10%. 500 is equal to 100. Actual estimated cost is 110. If 100 is equal to 500, 110 is equal to how much? Simply 550. 550 means your estimate is 550, your actual cost is 500. What is the difference between 500 and 550? 50 plus or minus? Plus 50. FI na? And third point, are you able to solve the third point? How you will solve the third point? Very easy, sir. 1500 is equal to 100. Then how much is 110? So if 100 is equal to 1500. 110 is equal to how much? 1500 by 100, 1500 by 100 into 110. How much? Tell me the answer. 1650. 1650. 1650. So listen, your budget is 1650, but the trip completed in 1500 only. That means under expenditure, over expenditure. Under expenditure. How much? Plus 150. F or A? F or A? So these are the variances. Okay. So how plus sign we have given, how minus signs we have given, and why A is used, why F is used. Really understood the concepts? Okay. The meaning of variance. You will know a chapter called standard costing in future. September or October we will discuss. In October we will discuss. What is this? August, September, 2 months gap is there. In October we will discuss about standard cost. The standard costing, nothing about this problem. The whole standard costing will lies in this. If you are able to understand problem, standard costing is, and mind you, standard costing is the most difficult chapter in your entire syllabus. Come again. Most difficult means tough or easy? Very, very, very tough. And if you are able to understand this problem, you have understood the difficult concepts. Nothing more than this. Okay. In standard costing, we will use formulas only. Nothing more than that. Okay. So this is the toughest problem in your entire cost sheet chapter. Why? Because this problem doesn't talk about cost sheet aspect. It is talking about variances. Do you draw cost sheet in this answer? Where is cost sheet here? Cost sheet means direct material, direct labor, prime cost, overheads, cost of networks, cost of production, cost of sales. Profit will be there. Where is profit here? No profit. So we didn't draw cost sheet. We have understood the standard costing scenario, which is most toughest in your entire syllabus. That is why understanding this problem is somewhat difficult. That is why multiple times I have reiterated the concept. Clear? So this is the ultimate toughest problem in your cost, and we have successfully completed solving this. Okay. So this is with respect to this problem. Okay. So do you really understood the problem? If you got any doubts, watch the video in YouTube again. And it is highly recommended for all of you watch this session again. When your class is just after completion of DT class, when your again next class, tomorrow schedule is also scheduled for afternoon only, right? From today onwards, the classes will be conducted in afternoon sessions only. So morning session, what are you doing actually? Nothing. Idle sessions. So in 2x speed, hardly this session is around 1 hour something. Problem discussion is hardly 40 minutes or something. If you watch in 2x speed, it will be in 20 minutes. It will be finished in 20 minutes. Okay, so it is highly recommendable for everyone. Watch this again. Even though you understand the problem, it is highly recommendable for everyone. Why? Because this is the toughest concept in entire costing. Clear? So do you really understand about adverse variance and favorable variance? When will be A sign is used? A. When will A sign will be used? Over expenditure or under expenditure? Over expenditure. Over expenditure means very good. Actual cost is more than estimated cost. When will F sign is used? Profitable. Okay. It means under expenditure or over expenditure? Under expenditure. Under expenditure means whenever your actual cost is lesser than budgeted cost or estimated cost, we will use favorable situation, that is plus sign or F sign. Okay. This is all with respect to cost sheet problem. So next one. Okay. So we are going to solve this problem. Visible for everyone? Visible? So listen carefully. Very important and very easy actually. I think you can solve this. Okay, no problem. Listen carefully. Sai, listen. Read the problem. Inquiry. Quotation. So regarding an advertisement agency, some customers asked for the services of an advertisement agency, and they approached you to respect to drawing the cost sheet and deciding the profit. Depending upon the cost sheet and profit, they will quote the bill. Next. Requirement of material. So they asked the production department and they said that material is as follows. First, paper, 10 reams. Each ream is 1800 per ream. If one ream is costing 1800, how much 10 reams will cost? 18,000. How you said it has 18,000? Sir, very simple, sir. If one ream is equal to 1800, 10 reams is equal to 18,000. Okay, very good. Don't add zero. Next, ink and other printing material. How much? 5,000. So how much is ink cost and other printing material cost? 5,000. Okay. Next, binding material and other consumables. 3,000. How much? So these are all direct materials. By whatever the name it may given, it's all direct materials on ink cost, binding cost, paper. Do you have you watched the have you watched my initial classes of costing? At initial classes of costing, I have clearly said what is direct cost and what is indirect cost. And I have taken bottle as an example. So, are you able to identify the plastic cost from this material, from this bottle? Means yes, plastic is directly visible, traceable. And are you able to identify the steel cost? Means yes, traceable, visible. This bottle has manufactured in a factory, right? To that factory, a gate will be there. To that gate, a watchman will be there. Please trace the watchman's salary from this bottle. Not trace. This bottle will be manufactured in a factory, right? To that factory, electricity connection is there, automatically there. What is the current bill of the factory? Please trace the electricity bill of the factory by using bottle. We can trace the cost of visible items. Can't trace the cost of invisible items. Those kind of invisible cost, not traceable costs, will be called as indirect costs. Those costs which are traceable are called as direct costs. In the same way, advertisement is there. In advertisement, say for example, paper pamphlet. In paper pamphlet, we can say paper cost, ink cost, material printing cost. These are the same cost now: paper, ink, binding material, and other consumables. That means these costs are directly traceable. That is why these called as direct cost. Okay, next one. Some photography is required for the job. Some photography is required for the job. The agency does not have a photographer as an employee. Agency does not have photographer. It decides to hire one by paying 10,000 to him. So in order to do the job, photography is required, and photographer asked how much? 10,000. Estimated job card prepared by the production department specifies that service of following employees will be required for this job. Whose service is required? Artist service is required. How many hours? 80 hours. And how much we are paying per month? 12,000. And the agency works 25 days in a month, 6 hours a day. Last point. Agency works 25 days in a month, 6 hours a day. 25 days per day, 6 hours. 25 into 6, how many? 150 hours. How many hours? So, salary is 12,000 per month. Per month, how many working hours is there? 150 hours. Very good. So, for 150 hours, you are paying 12,000. Then, for 80 hours, how much? Tell me. For 150 hours, 12,000. Then, for 80 hours, how much? Tell me. Use calculator. How we can solve this? Same, 3 steps. Divide this, multiply. So 12,000 divided by 150 into 80. 12,000 divided by 150 into 80. How much, ma? 1,400. Next. Copywriter. How many hours required? 75 hours. How much we are paying per month? 10,000. It means we are paying 10,000 for 150 hours. So for 150 hours it is 10,000. Then for 75 hours how much? $10,000 by 150 into 75. 10,000 by 150 into 75. How much? 4,999.9. That means 5,000. Here. And listen, client servicing 9,000 per month. That means for 150 hours it is paying 9,000. And how much is for 30 hours? 30 hours how much? 9,000 divided by 150, 30. How much? 1800. Here to get the answer, 1800. Okay, so this is the salary. That means job card, production department services, salaries and all we have to write. And listen, the primary packing material will be required to the tune of 4,000. Listen, what packing material? Primary. Primary means direct. So direct material again 4,000. Already we have incurred direct material here, and again we require another 4000. Okay, so first of all, how many reams ma? 10. Each ream 800 means 1800 into 10, 18,000 plus how much it is? 5,000 plus how much it is? 3,000, and again 4,000 is required here, 4,000. So total sums up to 18 plus 5, 23, 23 plus 3, 26, 26 plus 4, 30,000. So direct material cost is 30,000. This is direct material. And direct labor cost is photographer 10,000. Photographer, direct labor, photographer 10,000 plus other artist, copywriter, client is add this 6,400, 5,000 plus 1,800, add 13,100. We will add to 10,000. So direct labor is equal to 23,200. Do you really get the answer regarding how we have arrived at 23,200? Listen. Direct material. How much ma? 30,000. Actually, we are running out of time. Our class is still only 4. That's why I'm quickly solving. So here 30,000. And direct labor, how much? 23,200. 10,000 is for photographer and 13,200 for artists. Total sums up to 23,200. So direct material and direct labor gives rise to what? Prime cost. So prime cost is how much ma? 53,000. And now he is saying production overheads 40% of direct cost. Production overheads means factory overheads. Factory overheads. How much? 40% of production cost. Production cost means direct cost. Direct cost means 53,200 only. So 40% of 53,200. How much ma? 21,000. 21,280. How we have arrived at 21,280 means 40% into 53,200. So what we will be called? We will call it as net works cost, or we'll call as net works cost. How much? 74,480. Okay. So overheads, production overheads completed. While selling and distribution overheads, actually after factory overheads, what we need to do? Administration overheads. But administration overheads is not given in the problem. That's why 0. It will be called as cost of production. No adjustments. Why? Because no data given. So 74,480. Listen carefully. And selling and distribution overheads is 25% on the production cost. That means 25% into 74,480. How much it is? So add selling and distribution overheads. How much it is? 18,620. 18,620. So it will be called as cost of sales. Cost of how much? 93,100. So after that, what he is saying? What he's saying means the agency expects a profit of 20% on the quoted price. Quoted price means selling price. Quoted price means selling price. On sales, how much profit it is expecting? 20%. Okay. So agency works at 25 days, that thing completed. Listen carefully. Profit is equal to 25%, 20% on quoted price. Listen, this is very important. Listen. Do you know, do you have common sense? According to common sense, what is the equation? Cost plus profit is equal to cost plus profit is equal. It is said that agency is expecting profit is equal to 20% on selling price. So profit is equal to 20% of sales. So cost plus 20% of S is equal to S. That means cost is equal to S minus 20% S. Actually, you have taken this equation to opposite side, this plus sign will become minus sign. So now cost is equal to S minus 20% S means 80% S or 0.8 S. Okay, this is the simple thing. So what is the relation between cost and profit? Actually, listen, according to cost sheet, you add profit to the cost of sales, sales will arrive. So listen carefully. Cost is equal to how much? 80% of sales. Okay. So this 93,100 is equal to 80%. Then 100% how much? Okay. Then 93,100 by 80 into 100. 93,100 by 80 into 100. 1 lakh 15,375. 116,375. 116,375. This is the sales amount. So simply the difference between cost of sales and sales is the profit amount. How much is the profit amount? 2 3 2 3 2. So this is the profit amount. 2 3. Do you understand? So this is nothing but the difference between. So listen, this is very important. Profit expectation is equal to 20% of sales. How do you know? It is given in the question. The agency is expecting a profit of 20% on the quoted price. According to common sense, cost plus profit is equal to sale. Profit is equal to 20% of sales he has given in the problem. That means cost plus 20% sales is equal to sales. If you taken this plus sign to opposite of equal side, it will become minus. So C is equal to S minus 20%. Means C is equal to 80% of S. Is equal to what, ma? 80% of S. Equal to 80% of S. So listen, C is equal to 80% of S. By substituting the equation, C means 93,100. It is equal to how much? 80%. If 93,000 is equal to 93,100 is equal to 80%, then 100% is equal to how much? We have solved the equation and sales will came around 116,375. We know sales and we know cost. The difference between cost and sales is profit, and the profit is 23,270. 23,070. Clear? So the problem also, what we have asked, prepare the production. Sorry, one more thing. You are you are supposed to submit the quotation. So the quotation will be submitted like this, and Selling price quotation means how much? 116,375. 1,16,375. Okay. So this is all about illustration number somewhere around this illustration number 9 or 10. Okay. Today, how many illustrations we have completed? 2 illustrations we have completed. Okay. So remaining another 2 illustrations will be there. I'll discuss one more illustration in the class, and other illustration I'll give as okay. Remaining tomorrow. Okay. Right.